For more than a century, control of the sky belonged to pilots. Brave men and women flying faster than sound, risking everything above the battlefield. But today, many wars are fought without a pilot ever leaving the ground. How did air warfare change forever? For most of modern history, control of the skies depended entirely on human courage. When aircraft first appeared in war during the early 20th century, they were not weapons. They were observers, fragile machines made of wood and fabric, flying slowly above the battlefield to gather information. But it did not take long for warfare to follow them into the air. Pilots soon began carrying rifles and pistols, firing at each other across open cockpits. These encounters would evolve into the first aerial dogfights, transforming aviation forever. During the First World War, the fighter pilot became a new kind of warrior, fast, skilled, and deadly. Victory in the sky depended on reflexes, awareness, and bravery. By the time the Second World War began, aircraft had become faster, stronger, and far more dangerous. Bombers crossed entire continents, escorted by fighter planes battling for air superiority. Whoever controlled the sky could control the battlefield below. Pilots were no longer just observers. They were now the decisive weapon of modern war. But as aircraft pushed the limits of speed and altitude, a new question began to emerge. How long could humans remain at the center of aerial combat? As the Second World War came to an end, aviation entered a new era. Engineers were no longer focused only on flying, they were chasing speed. The invention of the jet engine transformed air combat overnight. Aircraft that once struggled to reach high altitudes could now break the sound barrier. Pilots faced a new reality. Dogfights that once lasted minutes were decided in seconds. During the Cold War, air power became a symbol of technological dominance. Nations competed to build faster fighters, higher bombers, and more advanced weapon systems. Radar, guided missiles, and early onboard computers began assisting pilots in ways never seen before. But as machines grew more capable, the role of the human pilot slowly began to change. Speed was no longer limited by engineering alone. It was limited by the human body. And for the first time, military planners began asking a radical question. What if the aircraft no longer needed a pilot at all? As aircraft became faster and more advanced, one limitation remained impossible to overcome. The human pilot. High speeds placed enormous stress on the body. Modern air combat demanded reaction times beyond human capability. Military engineers began exploring a radical idea. What if the aircraft could fly without a pilot at all? Early unmanned aerial vehicles were simple reconnaissance machines, designed to observe without risking human life. But advances in satellite communication, sensors, and artificial intelligence transformed drones into something entirely new. Operators could now control aircraft from thousands of kilometers away. War was no longer confined to the battlefield. A pilot could sit inside a secure control room while the aircraft operated on the other side of the world. Drones changed not only how wars were fought, but who fought them. Distance replaced danger. Algorithms assisted decisions once made by instinct. And for the first time in history, air power no longer required a human in the sky. For more than a century, the story of air warfare has been a story of transformation. From fragile aircraft flown by daring pioneers, to supersonic jets pushing the limits of human endurance, to unmanned systems controlled from thousands of kilometers away. Each generation removed one element from the battlefield. Distance replaced proximity, automation replaced instinct, and technology reshaped the role of the human warrior. Today, drones patrol skies once dominated by pilots. Decisions that once depended on individual courage are increasingly supported by data, sensors, and algorithms. Artificial intelligence is already assisting navigation, targeting, and threat detection. The next generation of aircraft may not wait for human commands at all. Autonomous systems are being designed to react faster than any pilot could ever respond. For the first time in history, air combat may no longer require a human presence in the sky. But this evolution raises a deeper question. If machines can fight wars, what becomes the role of humanity? The sky is no longer just a battlefield. It has become a network of intelligence, automation, and unseen control. And as technology continues to advance, the future of warfare may not be defined by who flies the aircraft, but by who programs it.